では次は私から。坊ちゃんのプレゼントに比べれば粗品かもしれませんが、お受け取りください。お嬢。
Maybach music.
My money long, my temper short, my car's foreign, my boss. The guns new, the B4. It's time to come
Maybach
through
music.
like never before. Liquid C4.
いや、免許とかないし、いらないわ。
I like watching harems. However, I know that the majority of harems are rather disappointing in terms of story progression and character development. Aside from a few exceptions, they are pretty much all the same. However, does today's anime take the harem style and switch things up, or is it another copy-paste of what we have already seen? What's up guys, it's Kent from Spartan Media Reviews, here to discuss the first season of Nisekoi. Does this anime deserve a watch? Let's find out. Nisekoi is a 20-episode harem romance series that follows the life of Raku Ichijo, the son of a mafia boss. 10 years ago, Ichijo made a promise to a certain girl, saying that they will be married in the future. Signifying this action, Ichijo gives the girl a key, which will open the large locket around his neck, confirming the girl to be the one he met 10 years ago. Now in present day, Ichijo still has the locket around his neck, but he barely remembers anything about the girl from 10 years ago, aside from the fact that he made this specific promise. One day when going to school, Ichijo is knocked down by a blonde girl who is running late to class. We find out that this girl's name is Chitoge and she is the daughter of a Yakuza leader. Due to some unfortunate circumstances, Chitoge and Ichijo are forced to be a couple in order to stop the clans from fighting. However, Ichijo in fact likes another girl and was about to see how she felt about him before Chitoge showed up. Adding insult to injury, both Ichijo and Chitoge hate each other, giving more insults compared to compliments or normal conversation. Thus, the story of Nisekoi begins. The story of Nisekoi is rather enjoyable. It takes a creative approach to the harem genre by combining the mafia and yakuza, twisting the generic high school setting. Certain concepts that take place in the show can also resemble other elements from different series, including Clanad and Toradora. Unfortunately, there is barely any substance otherwise. While the beginning of this series starts off with this creative approach, it never fully takes advantage of that aspect, turning back to the standard harem style of series that we have seen plenty of times before. The story itself also barely goes anywhere, using the rinse and repeat method multiple times, without any true conclusion to the series, although the last episode was rather enjoyable and creative in its own right. It's disappointing that the series barely went anywhere, as I found the comedy throughout the series to be hilarious, and the character interactions were fantastic as well for a romantic comedy. Nisekoi could have solved many of these problems entirely by changing the majority of its story's concepts from a harem to a general romance, similar to the style of other series like Clanad, Toradora, Golden Time, and so on and so forth. However, considering this is an adaptation of the manga, you really can't do much with that aspect. Overall, Nisekoi was a ton of fun to watch thanks to great comedy and character interactions, but the story itself was extremely disappointing and lackluster. The characters of Nisekoi are extremely likable, but unfortunately are rather underdeveloped. While the harem itself somewhat progresses, the characters themselves are still rather one-dimensional, aside from Ichijo. We have the tsundere, the shy best girl, the tomboy, the long-lost lover, the wingman and wingwoman, and finally the mafia and yakuza that brings everything together. While some events during the series help bring out the emotions of some of our characters, nothing really happens in terms of development. While the interactions of our characters are enjoyable to watch, none of them truly progress from the beginning. In terms of supporting character development, it's as good as what you would see in a generic style of harem. Overall, while I like the personalities and interactions of our characters, there barely was any development throughout the entire series. Nisekoi's animation is 100% Shaft. The animation for this series is great for the most part. The style changes multiple times depending on the situation or the emotion of the character. The animation also has a unique texture to it that Shaft does very well. While the animation isn't as complex as Madoka Magica, Nisekoi manages to capture the essence of the characters and setting very well. The openings and endings were also animated very nicely, giving off that style that Shaft likes to portray. Character designs look good and overall actions were done nicely as well. Overall, I like the animation, but if you are not a fan of Shaft's work, then you will probably not like this aspect. As you can see from the intro of this review, the soundtrack is trash. In reality, I actually enjoyed the soundtrack. It was nothing over the top, but it did a nice job of reflecting what was going on during the animation sequences. I loved the first opening, and I am still listening to this song as we speak. The endings are also very catchy and enjoyable to listen to as well. In terms of voice acting, each actor played their role nicely with a few standout performances here and there. Overall, I like the soundtrack and it is one of the higher points of the series. Now, with everything that I have said, do I recommend watching Nisekoi? In all honesty, I would probably pass on this one unless you are watching it strictly for comedic purposes or enjoyment alone. The story is non-existent, leaving the heavy workload up to the comedic scenes and harem elements. The characters are likable, but development is also non-existent. However, the animation and soundtrack are actually very good. Unfortunately, Nisekoi cannot hold up on these aspects alone. Nisekoi, which translates to fake love, definitely fakes its viewers out of any development whatsoever. Spartan Media Reviews gives the first season of Nisekoi a 6 out of 10 and an average recommendation. If you are interested in watching Nisekoi, you can check out the series for free over on Crunchyroll. Now, what are your thoughts on Nisekoi? Comment below. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. You can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I would really appreciate that as well. Follow me on Twitter and Hummingbird to keep up to date with the current things that I'm doing. And with all that said, I will catch you guys in my next review. Thank you for watching.
With our feet